Stop everything you're doing right now. I'm about to reveal why 99% of people will die having never lived a single day of their own life. And if you're watching this video at 2 a.m. questioning every choice you've made, this might be the most important 30 minutes of your entire existence. Imagine this: the person sitting next to you on the bus, your co-worker, maybe even you, are living someone else's dream while your own soul slowly dies. Every morning you wake up to an alarm that someone else set. Every day you follow rules that someone else wrote. Every night you go to bed knowing you've spent another 24 hours being who others expect you to be. But what if I told you there's a 500-year-old secret that the most powerful people in history used to break free from this invisible prison? What if the key to your freedom was hidden in the darkest corners of strategic thinking, written by a man so dangerous that his name became synonymous with ruthless power itself? Niccolo Machiavelli didn't write The Prince to help you climb corporate ladders. He wrote it to show you how to seize your own throne in a world designed to keep you kneeling. In the next 30 minutes, you're going to discover the brutal truth about why conformity is killing your potential, how standing alone can make you unstoppable, and the exact strategy to build a life so authentic that others will beg to follow you. But I need to warn you, once you see what I'm about to show you, you can't unsee it. You'll never look at your life the same way again. Are you ready to wake up from the Matrix? Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose my path. Number 1. The myth of conformity. Let's start with an uncomfortable truth. From the moment you're born, society begins molding you into its preferred shape. Go to school, get good grades, find a stable job, get married, buy a house, have kids, retire, die. It's the same script for everyone, and we're told this is the path to happiness. But here's what they don't tell you. This script wasn't designed for your fulfillment. It was designed for their comfort. Think about your typical day. How many of your decisions are actually yours? What time you wake up, dictated by your job. What you wear, influenced by social expectations. What you eat, shaped by marketing and peer pressure. Even your dreams and aspirations have been filtered through what others consider realistic or appropriate. The modern world has created the perfect illusion of choice while systematically eliminating actual choice. We're given 1,000 different brands of the same product and told we're free, while the fundamental structure of our lives remains identical to everyone else's. This conditioning runs deeper than you think. Your education system taught you to sit in rows, raise your hand before speaking, and follow instructions without questioning. Your workplace reinforces these patterns with dress codes, meeting schedules, and performance reviews that measure compliance over creativity. Your social circles maintain it through gossip about those who dare to be different, subtle pressure to conform, and rewards for fitting in. The result? A generation of walking zombies who've forgotten they ever had their own dreams. People who've become so good at being what others want them to be that they've lost touch with who they actually are underneath all the conditioning. Machiavelli once said, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." But what if you're not surrounded by anyone? What if you choose to think for yourself? The reality is, most people are terrified of standing alone because they've never learned to trust their own judgment. They'd rather be wrong with the crowd than right by themselves. This fear of isolation keeps millions trapped in lives they never actually chose. Consider the career path you're on right now. Did you choose it because it genuinely excited you? Or because it seemed safe? Because it would impress others? Because your parents approved? Be honest with yourself. Look at your daily routines. Do you check social media first thing in the morning because you want to, or because everyone else does? Do you watch the same shows, listen to the same music, buy the same products as your peer group? When was the last time you made a choice that was completely your own? The same applies to relationships. How many people settle for partners who meet society's checklist rather than someone who truly understands their soul? How many friendships are maintained out of obligation rather than genuine connection? How many conversations do you have where you're performing rather than being authentic? The conventional path promises security but delivers mediocrity. It promises belonging but delivers conformity. It promises success but defines success in someone else's terms. It promises happiness but delivers numbness. It promises meaning but delivers emptiness. The most tragic part: most people never even realize they're trapped. They think their dissatisfaction comes from not having enough money, not being in the right relationship, not living in the right place. They spend their entire lives trying to optimize someone else's game instead of creating their own. True fulfillment, the kind that makes you jump out of bed every morning, exists outside these predefined boundaries. It exists in the space between what others expect and what you know to be true about yourself. It requires the courage to disappoint people who never truly knew you anyway. Drop this affirmation in the comments: my path matters. Number 2, leveraging self-reliance in a connected world. Now, here's where most people get it wrong. They think choosing your own path means becoming a hermit or burning bridges with everyone around you. That's not strategic independence, that's just isolation. The real power move is learning to be completely self-reliant while still engaging meaningfully with others. This isn't about rejecting connection, it's about approaching it from a position of strength rather than need. When you develop true self-reliance, something magical happens in your relationships. You stop seeking validation and start offering value. You stop trying to fit in and start standing out. You stop following and start leading. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine you're in a business meeting where everyone is nodding along to a terrible idea. The traditional approach would be to either speak up and risk being seen as difficult, or stay quiet and maintain harmony. Both options make you reactive to the group dynamic. The self-reliant approach: you've already done your homework. You have your own analysis, your own alternatives, and your own conviction. When you speak, it's not from insecurity or the need to be heard. It's from genuine expertise and independent thinking. This commands respect in a way that following the crowd never could. But let's dig deeper into what self-reliance actually looks like in practice. It means having your own information sources instead of relying on what everyone else is reading. It means developing your own criteria for making decisions instead of outsourcing your judgment to others. It means creating your own definition of success instead of chasing metrics that don't actually matter to you. Self-reliance means being financially independent enough to walk away from situations that compromise your values. It means being emotionally stable enough that you don't need constant reassurance from others. It means being intellectually curious enough to form your own opinions instead of adopting whatever's trending. Machiavelli once said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." When you operate from genuine self-knowledge and independent thinking, the few who matter will recognize your authenticity, while the many who don't matter will respect your strength. Strategic independence actually enhances collaboration because it brings unique perspective to the table. When everyone thinks alike, nobody thinks very much. But when you've developed your own viewpoint, you become valuable precisely because you're different. Think about the most successful entrepreneurs throughout history. They didn't succeed by copying what everyone else was doing. They succeeded by developing their own vision so clearly that others wanted to join them. Steve Jobs didn't ask customers what they wanted. He created products they didn't know they needed. Oprah didn't follow television formulas. She created her own style that others tried to copy. This is the paradox of leadership. The more comfortable you become standing alone, the more people want to follow you. The more you trust your own judgment, the more others trust your judgment. The more authentic you become, the more authentic connections you attract. In negotiations, this principle is pure gold. When you don't need the deal, you get better deals. When you're not desperate for approval, people want to give it to you. When you're genuinely prepared to walk away, others become more willing to meet your terms. But here's the key. This isn't about playing games or manipulating people. It's about developing such a clear sense of your own worth and direction that you naturally attract aligned opportunities and partnerships. The self-reliant person doesn't network, they attract. They don't chase opportunities. Opportunities chase them. They don't sell themselves. Their results speak for themselves. They don't need to prove their worth. Their value is self-evident. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It requires consistently choosing your own judgment over popular opinion. It requires saying no to good opportunities so you can say yes to great ones. It requires disappointing some people so you can serve the right people. It requires short-term discomfort for long-term fulfillment. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I attract alignment. Number 3. The power of calculated risk. Let's talk about risk. Most people live their entire lives trying to avoid it, but here's what they don't understand. The biggest risk is taking no risks at all. Every meaningful achievement in human history came from someone willing to venture into uncertain territory. Every breakthrough, every innovation, every moment of progress happened because someone chose the unknown over the comfortable. But there's a crucial difference between reckless gambling and calculated risk-taking. Reckless people jump without looking. Calculated risk-takers study the landscape, prepare for multiple scenarios, and then make informed decisions based on their own analysis. The fear of risk is actually the fear of responsibility. When you play it safe, you can always blame external circumstances for your dissatisfaction. When you take risks, you become responsible for the outcomes, both good and bad. Most people would rather be victims of circumstance than authors of their own story. Machiavelli once said, "Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved." This isn't about being cruel, it's about being respected for your competence and decisiveness rather than liked for your agreeableness. When you take calculated risks, even the ones that don't work out perfectly provide invaluable lessons and propel you forward. Every failure becomes data. Every setback becomes setup for a comeback. Every mistake becomes education you can't get any other way. Think about it this way. What's the worst thing that could happen if you pursued your real dreams instead of playing it safe? Seriously, think about it. Most of the time, the worst-case scenario isn't actually that bad, especially compared to the slow death of living someone else's life. Let's examine some common fears and their reality. Fear of financial ruin, but you're already financially trapped in a system that doesn't reward your true value. Fear of social rejection, but you're already surrounded by people who don't truly know or appreciate you. Fear of failure, but you're already failing to live up to your own potential. On the flip side, what's the worst thing that could happen if you don't take risks? You'll reach the end of your life having never discovered what you were truly capable of. You'll have played it so safe that you never actually lived. You'll die with your music still inside you, as they say. The Machiavellian principle of anticipating obstacles isn't about pessimism, it's about preparation. When you've thought through the potential challenges and prepared contingencies, you can move forward with confidence rather than fear. Here's a practical framework for calculated risk-taking. First, clearly define what you want to achieve and why it matters to you. Vague dreams lead to vague results. Get specific about your desired outcome and understand your deeper motivation. This clarity will sustain you through inevitable challenges. Second, identify the specific risks involved and their likelihood. Most fears dissolve when you examine them closely. Write down your worst-case scenarios and honestly assess how probable they are. Often, you'll discover that your fears are based on imagination rather than evidence. Third, develop contingency plans. What will you do if Plan A doesn't work? What about Plan B? Having backup plans doesn't mean you expect to fail. It means you're prepared to adapt. This preparation actually makes success more likely because you can pivot quickly when circumstances change. Fourth, start small and build momentum. You don't need to bet everything on one massive risk. Take smaller, calculated risks that build your confidence and competence over time. Each success creates capacity for bigger risks later. Fifth, set a timeline and success metrics. How will you know if it's working? When will you reassess? Having clear milestones prevents you from either giving up too early or persisting too long with something that isn't working. Finally, take action. Analysis. Without action is just procrastination in disguise. At some point you have to stop planning and start doing. Perfect information doesn't exist, and perfect timing never comes. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate risk. It's to take smarter risks. The person who never fails is the person who never tries anything worth doing. The person who never faces uncertainty never discovers what they're truly capable of achieving. Risk is not your enemy. Mediocrity is. Uncertainty is not your problem. Complacency is. The unknown is not what you should fear. The known limitations of your current life are what should terrify you. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I embrace uncertainty. Number 4. Charting your uncharted course. Now comes the most important part, actually creating your own path. This isn't about rejecting everything society offers. It's about consciously choosing what serves your authentic vision and discarding what doesn't. The first step is brutal honesty about what you actually want, not what you think you should want. Strip away the expectations, the judgments, the fear, and the programming. What would you pursue if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you do if nobody was watching? What makes you feel most alive? This process of self-discovery is more challenging than it sounds, because most of us have been conditioned to ignore our authentic desires for so long that we've forgotten what they are. You might need to go back to childhood memories to remember what genuinely excited you before the world told you to be realistic. This isn't a one-time exercise. Your authentic vision will evolve as you grow and learn. The key is staying connected to your inner compass while remaining flexible about the specific route. Machiavelli once said, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves." One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. You need both cunning intelligence and bold courage to forge your own path. Here's your comprehensive roadmap. Start by conducting a personal audit. What aspects of your current life align with your authentic vision? What aspects are you maintaining out of habit, fear, or external pressure? Be ruthlessly honest. This might be uncomfortable, but it's necessary. You can't navigate toward your destination if you don't know where you currently are. Look at your daily schedule. How much of your time is spent on activities that energize you versus drain you? How much of your mental energy goes toward things you genuinely care about versus things you feel obligated to care about? How many of your relationships add value to your life versus subtract from it? Next, identify your unique combination of strengths, interests, and values. What can you do better than most people? What do you find endlessly fascinating? What principles are non-negotiable for you? Your path should leverage these elements. Your strengths aren't just your technical skills. They include your personality traits, your way of thinking, your natural talents, and your learned abilities. Your interests aren't just hobbies. They're the subjects and activities that capture your attention and energy. Your values aren't just abstract concepts. They're the principles you're willing to sacrifice for. Then, begin making small but consistent moves toward your vision. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow or move to another country. Start with daily actions that align with your authentic direction. These might be as simple as spending 30 minutes each morning on a project that matters to you, or as complex as starting a side business. The key is consistency over intensity. Small daily actions compound over time into massive results. One page written each day becomes a book in a year. One small business experiment each month becomes expertise in entrepreneurship. One authentic conversation each week becomes a network of genuine relationships. Create your own success metrics. Society will tell you success looks like money, status, or recognition. But what does success mean to you? Define it clearly so you'll know when you're winning. Your success metrics might include freedom measures, how much control you have over your time and decisions. They might include impact measures, how much positive difference you're making in the world. They might include fulfillment measures, how often you feel energized versus drained by your activities. Build your own feedback loops. Instead of relying on others' approval, develop ways to measure your progress against your own standards. This keeps you focused on what matters rather than what's popular. Traditional feedback comes from bosses, customers, critics, or social media metrics. But these external measures might not reflect what's actually important to your authentic path. Create internal measures that track your alignment with your values, your progress toward your vision, and your overall life satisfaction. Prepare for resistance. When you start charting your own course, some people won't understand. They might question your choices, predict failure, or try to convince you to return to the safe path. This is normal. Their discomfort with your independence often reflects their own trapped situation. The resistance might come from family members who want you to follow their definition of success. It might come from friends who feel threatened by your growth. It might come from colleagues who prefer the predictable version of you. Remember that their opinions are based on their limitations, not your potential. Develop a support system of people who understand and encourage your authentic path. These might not be your current friends and family. You might need to find new mentors, join different communities, or connect with like-minded individuals who share your commitment to authentic living. Remember, this is an ongoing process of adaptation and learning. Your path will twist and turn in ways you can't predict. The goal isn't to have everything figured out. It's to remain true to your authentic vision while staying flexible about how to achieve it. Most importantly, trust your instincts. You have access to information about yourself that nobody else possesses. You know your deepest desires, your hidden capabilities, and your unique perspective on the world. Use this knowledge. Your instincts are the accumulation of all your experiences, observations, and insights. They're your subconscious mind processing information faster than your conscious mind can analyze it. When something feels right or wrong, pay attention to that feeling. It's often more accurate than logical analysis. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I trust myself. We've covered a lot of ground today. We've exposed the myth of conformity and how it limits your potential. We've explored how strategic independence can actually enhance your relationships and opportunities. We've discussed the power of calculated risk-taking and how even failures propel you forward. And we've provided a comprehensive framework for charting your own unique course. But here's the thing, information without action is worthless. You can watch every video, read every book, and attend every seminar. But until you actually start walking your own path, nothing changes. The world needs what you uniquely have to offer. It needs your perspective, your talents, your vision. But it will never get these gifts if you keep trying to be someone else. Think about the greatest contributions to human civilization. They all came from individuals who dared to think differently, act independently, and create something new. They came from people who refused to accept the status quo as permanent and chose to forge their own path instead. Your throne isn't waiting for you in some distant future. It's not going to be handed to you by others. It's not hidden in some secret location. Your throne exists the moment you decide to claim it, the moment you choose your own path over the well-trodden trail, the moment you trust yourself more than you trust the crowd. The question isn't whether you're capable of forging your own path. You absolutely are. The question is whether you're willing to begin, whether you're willing to disappoint some people to honor yourself, whether you're willing to face uncertainty to discover your potential, whether you're willing to stand alone, if necessary, to live authentically. Every day you delay is another day of living someone else's life. Every excuse you make is another brick in the prison you're building around your potential. Every time you choose safety over authenticity, you're voting for mediocrity over magnificence. Start today. Start now. Take one small action that moves you toward your authentic vision. Send that email. Make that call. Take that first step. Write that first page. Have that difficult conversation. Make that investment in yourself. Your future self is waiting for you to begin. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's action in the presence of fear. You don't need to feel ready to begin. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need anyone's permission. You just need to start. If this video opened your eyes to new possibilities, smash that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And if you want more strategies for living life on your own terms, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. Your support helps us reach more people who are ready to break free from conformity and seize their own throne. Your path is calling. It's been calling your entire life. It's time to stop making excuses and start making progress. It's time to stop following and start leading. It's time to stop living someone else's dream and start creating your own reality. The throne awaits. Will you claim it? I want you to drop this final affirmation in the comments. My time is now.